Today we're gonna discuss about safety for rigger and signalman. This is one of the very important topic whenever we are dealing with any crane and at our work site we used to work with the different types of cranes. So there are two important person who's managing the safety of the crane, rigger and the signalman. So let's understand their roles and responsibility and how we can make sure that there's safety for riggerman and signalman. Before that, I would like to request you please subscribe my channel and like my videos, and please do share with your friends and colleagues as well. So let's start our training. Safety for rigger and signalman. So what we're going to discuss in this training, proper attire for rigger and signalman, roles and responsibility of a rigger, good and bad rigging practices, inspection of hooks and shackles, types of wear and tear of wire ropes, roles and responsibilities of a signalman, recommended crane hand signals, and good communication practices. So these are the topics we're going to discuss today. So proper attire for rigger and signalman. Wear personal protective equipment, put on the proper attire and PPE at all times. This is the proper attire that a rigger and the signalman they should wear. This is for the signalman attire. They should wear helmet, identification tag, so that the person can be identified whether he is a rigger or a signalman. After that, they should have the reflective vest, safety boots, gloves. So this is the proper attire for the signalman. After that, we have the rigger. Rigger also has the same helmet, identification tag, reflective vest, safety boots, and gloves also. So this is the proper attire they should wear throughout the process whenever they are dealing with any rigging process or they are handling any crane. After that, we have roles and responsibility of a rigger. A rigger should check the slings and ensure that the rigging angle is correct. So they have to check that the angle is correct. After that, check load. They have to check the load of this one rigging. Make sure the load is properly secured and inform the crane operator of the weight of the load. They should check it is properly secured and it is properly managed. After that, check lifting gears. They have to check the lifting gears, whether it is any damage. They have to inform the operators also and the other supervisors if they are at present on the site. So they have to inform them also. Make sure the lifting gears such as slings and shackles are well maintained and in good working condition, that they have to check. Ensure load lifted is safe and balanced. They have to make sure that load is lifted safely and in a balanced way. So, and they have to make sure that the load is stable also and balanced before any lifting position. Ensure loads are secured. Whenever they are dealing with any load, they have to make sure any loose items are placed in a proper receptacles or container to prevent the load from falling during the lifting operation. So if any loose load they have crane operator have to lift, they have to make sure that it is put in the proper basket, so these loose loads will not fall down during the lifting operation. After that, report defective lifting gear of lifting supervisor. They have to report if there is any defective lifting gear or if there is any damaged lifting gear. They have to report to the lifting supervisor. Immediately report any defective or faulty lifting gear to the lifting supervisor. So that is their roles and responsibility that they have to do. Sorry. After that, roles and responsibility of a rigger. Use padding on the load edges. Place adequate paddings on the edges of the load to prevent the sling from damage. That we have the good and bad rigging practices. Correct use of the choker edges. This is the correct use of choker edges. We should use the choker edges in this way, not like this. So not like this. So they should be used like this. Make sure there is no cutting action on the running line. There shouldn't be any cutting action on the running line whenever we are using this one. Figure 4, do not use shackle pin as it will become loose over time. So we should not use any pin because it will start to lose as the process of lifting will start and go forward. After that, make sure there is no cutting action on the wire rope sliding high on the running line. So there should not be any cutting. After that, we have good and bad rigging practices, correct way to balance a cycle load, the correct. So this is the packings hook. Then we have the washer. This is the one. Insert sufficient washer to centralize the position of a cycle. We have to insert the sufficient washer to centralize the cycle. After that, we have the figure number 7. Make sure the cycle is not pulled down at an angle. So it should not be pulled down like this. It should be in the middle. If it is pulled down, what will happen? The load will unbalance. So that we have to avoid during the lifting process. Good and bad rigging practices. After that, we have the correct hookup methods. This is the correct hookup method. Make sure the safety latch is in good condition. This safety latch, it should be in a good conditions. Make sure the cycle is hooked up correctly. It should be hooked up correctly. And after that, make sure the cycle is equally spaced apart. It should be equally spaced apart. So this is the bad practice. So we should not do like this whenever we are wrong hooking up method. This is the wrong hooking up method. We should not hook up like this. Good and bad rigging practice. Correct rigging method. This is the correct one. We have to make sure that secure the hooks facing out. These hooks should face outside, not inside. Not like this. It should not face inside. It should not face inside. After that, do not secure the hooks facing in. They should not face in. They always should face out. Do not wrap a rope around the hook. We should not do this whenever we are doing any lifting process. We have to make sure that we are not wrapping a rope around the hook. Correct rigging method. This is the correct rigging method. Make sure the load is rigged correctly before lifting. We have to make sure that load is properly placed and properly rigged before the lifting operation. The load will lift to one side during lifting if it is not rigged correctly. We have to make sure that if it should be rigged correctly. Now the load length is too much. So what will happen during the lifting operation? This load will not be stable. Sometime it will go this side, sometime it will go right and left. So it won't be stable. So we have to make sure that we are rigging the correct process. Good and bad rigging practice. Correct rigging method. This is the correct rigging method. It will tilt to one side if we will lift it in this way. And this side here you can see that this side length is less and this side is high. So it should be balanced. It should be equal. So it will not go one to another side. Do not tie the sling from one eye bolt to another as it will tilt to one side. Hook up unused slings. Make sure any unused slings are hooked up properly. So these should be hooked up properly. After that, do not leave unused slings unhooked. If it is unused, we should not leave it unhooked. If they are not in use, they should not be leave as unhooked. Good and bad loading practices. Correct loading method. This is the correct load method. The load, result, load. So correct loading method should be like this. Whenever we have the eye bolt will bend if loading is not done correctly. So we have to make sure that loading should be done in a correct way. So the eye bolt will not be damaged. Use padding during lifting. Whenever you are doing any lifting process, you have to use the padding to avoid any damage. Correct way of using padding to prevent damage to the sling. This is the correct way of using the padding. So this is the correct way. You have to use in this way. No padding. Here you can say that there is no padding, so sling will be damaged if padding are not used on the load. So this sling will be damaged and load can be unstable or load can fall down. Then correct method of joining sliding eyes, cycles, sliding eyes. So these are the sliding eyes and there is the cycle. So this is the correct way of joining cycles and this is the sliding eye. This is the correct way. Now, wrong method of joining the sliding eyes. So these are the wrong method. This is the correct method. So in this way, we have to use in this way. We should not use in that way. So that use original screw pin. Original screw pin. Whenever you are using this original this line, you have to make sure that you are using the original screw pin. Use the original screw pin for the cycle. Whenever you are using any cycle for the rigging, so you have to use the original screw pin. So this is the bolt. So this should not be used. Do not use the bolt as a screw pin. It will bend. Use tagline to control movement of the load. Whenever you are doing any rigging, any lifting operation, you have to use the tagline to control the movement of load to avoid any unplanned or unwanted movement. Correct method of unloading, shoring planks. So this is the correct method of unloading any load. Place load on shoring planks during the unloading. After then, do not use the crane to pull out the slings from under the load. So do not pull the crane. Check the hooks for any defects and make sure it is in good working conditions whenever you are doing any inspection of hooks and cycles. So in this way, you have to do the inspections of the hooks and cycles. You have to check for cracks and twisting. Check for wear and deformation and signs of opening up. Here, you have to check. And check for wear and cracks and check that hook is not twisted. So these are the inspection you have to do on hooks and cycles. Check cycle for any defects and make sure it is in good working conditions. You have to check the cycle. It should be in good working condition. You have to check the wear. You have to check cracks, bending, and twisting. You have to pin always seated. Pin should be there always. And check wear and straightness. You have to check the wear and straightness and check opening width. You have to check the opening width. The width should not be too much. You have to check. You have to make sure that the width is in the accurate form. After then, types of wear and tear for wire ropes. So check wire ropes for any defects and make sure they are in good working condition. You have to check the wire ropes also. If they are like this, crushed severely, so they should not be used. If they are flattened severely, they should not be used also. Check wire ropes for any defects and make sure they are in good working conditions. So if they are bird cage like this, they should not be used. If they are bent, dog leg kink should not be used, and kink, open kink, and close kink. Types of wear and tear of a wire ropes. Check wire ropes for any defects and make sure they are in good working conditions. Blood severely, core portions, excessive clearance between strands. So all these are unsafe. Then roles and responsibilities of a signalman. Before we talk about the roles and responsibility of a rigger, now we will discuss about the roles and responsibilities of a signalman. Signalman should check load is properly rigged. Check the load is properly rigged before giving clear signal to the crane operator. That is the responsibility of a signalman. After then, give correct crane hand signals. A signalman should give the correct hand signals to the operator. Then understand, practice correct crane hand signals. So these are the correct crane hand signal that should be given by a signalman. Jib up, this is one. Jib down, travel to me, travel from me, signal with both hands. After then, clench and unclench fingers to signal, take the strength. Hoist, lower, sleeve left, sleeve right, arm extended, pointing with finger in direction of swing or boom. So signal with one hand, other hand on head. So these are the different signals that a signal person should give to the crane operator. Good communication practices. Now practice good communication within the lifting team. Communication between lifting supervisor, rigger, and signalman must be maintained at all times to make sure that the lifting plan is operated properly and the lifting process completed without any injury or without any accident or incident. Practice good communication within the lifting team. Rigger and signalman must maintain good communication between each other at all times. So these are the all responsibilities of a signalman, and there should be a proper communication within the lifting team. Okay. So that's all from my side for this training. I hope you like this video and the information which I provided you so far. And please do not forget to subscribe my channel and like my videos. And please do share with your friends and colleagues as well. Thank you. See you in the next video.